Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast, episode 21. I'm your host, Pete Costanis, and this program is brought to you by Colby's Furniture Stores and Multiplication Rock.
Until October 23rd, Colby's is having a sofa sale that's too important to miss. 8 of our most popular sofas will be available in 2 collections of designer closeout fabrics. And depending on your choice, the sofas are sale priced at $499 or $599, a savings of 25 to 40%. And there are matching love seats and chairs available. So come to Colby's for a sofa sale too important to miss. Colby's, Chicago, Oak Brook, Northbrook.
We're so done with New Year, New You. This year, it's more you on Bumble. More of you shamelessly sending playlists, especially that one filled with show tunes. More of you finding Geminis because you know you always like them. More of you dating with intention because you know what you want. And you know what? We love that for you. Someone else will too. Be more you this year and find them on Bumble.
Multiplication Rock is brought to you by your very favorite General Foods.
Okay, and we are back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Colby's Furniture and that sponsor from Multiplication Rock. Multiplication Rock, I will talk about that at the end of the program to get into more detail. Colby's Furniture. A lot of people from the Chicagoland area remembered that furniture store, and it was in business for a long, long time. And I tried to find some information of that, but there's very little of it. So John Colby, I believe that's his name. He could be the founder. I don't know. He was a cabinet maker in Chicago, and the business started in 1879, and the business changed to John Colby's and Sons in 1885, and then just Colby's in the mid 1940s. Then it was located in the Loop somewhere on. I'm trying to remember the exact address. First, it was located at 148 Wabash Avenue. I think it's north or south. I don't know. And then it moved to 29 South Wabash, which I think that's where Crocs and Bertano's opened. So I think when Crocs opened their flagship store on Wabash Avenue, Colby's Furniture was there. And after that, I don't know where Colby's moved in Chicago. I do know that there were locations in Northbrook Court, in Northbrook, Illinois, and in Oak Brook Center in Oak Brook, Illinois. And then there was one. They had one other store they opened in Lincolnwood on 3635 West Toohey, and that closed. That was the only store remaining, and it closed in 1991, so it's about 30 years ago. And so it was in business for over 100 years, and I remember the commercials on TV. I'm sure you have, and I never bought furniture there, or my mom, but she remembered the store, and I think I went once in Oak Brook, probably a long time ago, and they had some very quality furnishings, beautiful end tables, lamps, bedroom furniture. I do post photos of it. The only photo I could find a long time ago was when the Oak Brook store opened in 1967 at Oak Brook Center, and they were some construction men were putting on the sign on the store. I have a photo of that somewhere. So that was a nice memory to discuss with you. Okay, another thing I will talk about is a post I had on my Vanished Chicagoland Facebook page, and it was buffalo ice cream. And as soon as I posted that, it was an immediate hit. People remembered that particular business, and what was special about that, it was there for a long, long time, and the original store, the Buffalo Ice Cream Parlor, was located, I think, I'm not sure, it was on Sedgwick. Let me look it up, and I will tell you. It was on, I think, North Avenue in Sedgwick. I'm not sure. Oh, here we are. No, I'm sorry. It was the original location was on West Division and Sedgwick Avenue, and then it moved to the Irving Park location in 1918. Well, actually, the business started. It opened in 1902. So just to correct that, I'll say it again. It opened in 1902 at Division in Sedgwick, and then it moved to the Irving Park location in 1918, and the address was at 4000 North Pulaski. But at the time, it wasn't Pulaski, it was Crawford. And to this day, some people still say Crawford. And if you drive on Pulaski Road, if you go to the suburbs, like, for example, going in the north suburbs or south suburbs, I think I see signs that said Crawford Avenue. And also probably Skokie I think Skokie, or Lincolnwood and Skokie. I don't know about after that. It was Crawford. I haven't been to the north side for a long time, so I haven't really noticed it. So where I lived in my old neighborhood on the southwest side at Ashburn, it was Pulaski. And but to this day, some people say Crawford. Anyway, so the Buffalo Ice Cream Parlor on Irving Park was very, like I said, very popular. And it mentioned in a few articles that it had some very popular and tasteful ice cream creations. And there was here's one called the Hubba Hubba. And a couple people mentioned that on my Facebook page, and it was 5 scoops of ice cream, banana, whipped cream, nuts, and butterscotch. Oh, sounds good. And Tutti Frutti was vanilla ice cream with strawberries, bananas, and pineapple topping. That sounds wonderful. And they also mentioned that their hot fudge sundaes was outstanding. It was great. I never been to that. I never been there. I found the menu of Buffalo Ice Cream Parlor, and let's see, it had, of course, hot fudge sundaes, banana splits. Let's see what else, milkshakes, or just plain sodas. Let's see, I can't see. Yeah, so they had those two I mentioned, the Tutti Frutti and the Hubba Hubba. And they also had the Buffalo Special. Not only served ice cream there, they also had sandwiches. Like, for example, they had cheese hamburgers. They had olive burgers, which I mentioned that the other restaurant was the Peter Pan restaurant. They were famous for their olive burgers. They also had their specialty buffalo burger. I don't know if it was made out of buffalo meat. I don't think so. All kinds of wonderful things they had. The location remained at Irving Park until 1973, and that's where I posted that photo a couple of days ago. And it moved to Morton Grove, and then it went to Buffalo Grove. Now, I found the original owner of Buffalo Ice Cream, and his name was John Korobilas, and he was Greek, of course. And he did find that. And let's see. So I don't know if he was the original owner. I don't think he was, because I'm sure there were others before that who actually founded the place. But he did ran it in the early 20s until World War II. And he had a brother, Mike, and they ran it together. And So I don't know if they sold it to their sons afterwards. I don't know. I have no idea. And then the two brothers left, and they started opened a real estate office and selling commercial property until they passed away. So right now, the location at Irving Park, they tore down the building. And I've read somewhere that a lot of people from the neighborhood, especially people who like to preserve Chicago architecture, were just livid about it because it was a beautiful building, and well, I guess it didn't work. So now there's a Shell gas station on the corner, and I saw it on Google Maps, and it looked kind of depressing, because there's another gas station across the street. And that photo in 1973, it showed the CTA trolley, which were the Green Hornets. And some people asked, when did the CTA Green Hornets cease running in Chicago? And that was indisputable. So it could have been, but I did find out it was in 1973. So that photo was taken in 1973, and that was probably the last year. And I rode a couple times on that. And I remember my family and I, we went to a church festival at Holy Trinity, which was located at Diversey, west of Austin. And that was in the early 70s. And we took the Green Hornet, and that's a fun ride. At the time, we didn't drive at the time, when my mom didn't drive at the time. And let's see. So Holy Trinity Church closed about a couple of years ago. I went there right before it closed, and it was deteriorating, but a lot of people wanted to keep it, but the neighborhood changed. And a lot of people moved away. And the membership was very low. So they sold it. And right now, I'm not sure where it's located. I think last I heard, it's somewhere in Des Plaines. They have a little church. They had probably a location in some cemetery. So they're trying to bring it back. Good luck to them. Anyway, so the present location of Buffalo Ice Cream is in Buffalo Grove. I don't know who runs it now. It could be a family member or someone else. And people have told me it's not the same as what it was before. So I have no say in this because I've never been there. So maybe someday I will and see for myself. Okay. Another thing I will talk about is, let's see. I'll be right with you. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the commercials I posted. That Colby furniture store was from 1977, and that one, the multiplication rock, I will get into it in about a minute. Oh, all right. The next thing I will talk about is Garofalo's supermarkets. Now, I posted a photo a couple days ago, and it was a supermarket that was located in Glenwood, Illinois, at Glenwood Plaza at 183rd Street and South Halsted. Now, that photo was taken in the 60s, and at the time they had a lot of locations, mostly in the south suburbs. And the man that founded the supermarkets, his name was Marty Garofalo, and he passed away last year at this time, and he was 99 years old. Oh, God bless him. And so he opened his first, according to his obituary, he opened his first store in Harvey in 1940. And I'm sure it was called Garofalo's Food Store. I'm sure it was. And then he opened a second and third store in Homewood. And then he opened a fourth store in Olympia Plaza in Chicago Heights, and which he operated himself until the late 80s. And so there were locations in South Chicago Heights, Park Forest, Country Club Hills, Glenwood, which I mentioned before, Tinley Park, Worth, and in Beverly. I'm not sure where in Beverly it was, but I do remember the store in Worth, Illinois. And I don't know if my mother went there once. Maybe she did. Right now, I think it's Fair Play. It's a Fair Play store, which I have one near my house. And it was a very popular grocery store. I don't know how reasonably priced it was. So, but a lot of people remember fondly of that. And so it went into, I think it went out of business probably in the late 80s. And what's interesting about the one in Glenwood, it was located in Glenwood Plaza, and it was right near the Glenwood Theater. And a lot of people remember that theater so well. And they also had a restaurant there, a Chinese restaurant called the Dragon Inn. I didn't go much into detail looking, searching photos and all that. But from what I heard from people, that it was a very popular place. I heard it moved to Indiana. I don't know if it's still there. I don't know. But at the time when it was in Glenwood, they said it was wonderful. So maybe someday I'll talk about that place. Okay. All right. The next thing I will talk about is Multiplication Rock. And why do you ask yourselves and me, why did I post this? Because this is one of the favorite things I loved watching when I was growing up. And it was a series of educational short films called Schoolhouse Rock. And that debuted in January 6, 1973. And so there were about 7 themes of that. And let's see. The first one was, of course, Multiplication Rock. I'll go into more detail of that. And then it was Grammar Rock. For example, they talked about nouns, verbs. One famous thing was conjunction junction. People unpack your adjectives. And lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. And prepositions, interjections. And the songs were so catchy. You can't get them out of your head. And they were wonderful. And they aired them when you were watching TV on Saturday mornings on ABC during the cartoons. Like, for example, if they showed reruns of Scooby-Doo, I remember sometimes I watched Goober and the Ghost Chasers, or not Speed Race, excuse me, Speed Buggy. I think it was on Channel 2. I'm not sure. So that's what it showed. Oh, of course, Super Friends. I remember that, and that was great. So I will talk about Multiplication Rock, for example, because that one is my favorite. I love Grammar Rock, but this one was much better. So Multiplication Rock, there were about 11 episodes, aired from the first time it aired January 6th of the debut of the show until March 31st. And the episodes, I'll just go through them real quickly. The first one they aired was, a couple of them were out of order. So the first one was 3 is a magic number. The second one was My Hero Zero. And then number 3 was, they talked about the number 2. Also, the first episode, they talk about number 3. The second episode, the number 0. And then the third episode was the number 2, which is odd. I don't know why they did that. Next was the Four-Legged Zoo. They talk about the number 4. Ready or Not, Here I Come. They talk about the number 5. And then next was I Got 6. Next was Lucky 7 Samson. They talk about the number 7. I remember there was a rabbit, and he had like a black circle around his left eye, and the number 7 on his right foot. Excuse me. And then we have Figure 8. I remember that. That was a quiet song, and then the next one was a little controversial, and it was called Naughty Number 9, and it was like a fat cat, and he looked like Minnesota Fats, and he played a game of 9-ball and he used the mouse as a cue ball, and they talk about the number 9, and so they didn't want smoking, in children's programming at the time. Well, they still don't, but the character number 9, he was puffing on a cigar. And so they eventually they accept it. So they didn't edit it or change it like that, but they almost did. So it's been left alone. So I'm glad about that. And then the next one was The Good 11 and Little 12 Toes. Now, the strange thing about this is the number 1 is missing and number 10 is missing. I don't know why. I don't understand, unless I missed them. But I don't remember seeing shorts about the number 10 or the number 1. No, anyway. So they aired those episodes for a long time on ABC, which was WLS on Channel 7. And so eventually they were released on DVD or first VHS. So I did buy them on the first time I bought them was on on DVD, and it was like a bootleg at a comic book convention. But then they released the official release in the 90s, like 1995. So I have that, and I haven't played it in a long time. So that was fun to see that. So I heard you can see them on Disney Plus, and sometimes they put that disclaimer of outdated cultural depictions. Excuse me. So I don't know. I just watch them on DVD as is. So that I love that. I love the series. I really do. And the characters were unforgettable, and the music is infectious. So I could play them on my computer or on my iPad, and so I can listen to them on Apple Music, and I got all of them. So it's fun to watch and also listen to them. Okay. So that'll be all for today. I'm sorry to be rambling a little bit. I still get nervous talking and recording my podcast, even though there's nobody here, but I don't like hearing myself. And so just bear with me. I'm getting better each episode. So that'll be all for today. I hope you can join me soon. I probably record another episode, probably Friday or Saturday or the weekend. We'll see. Okay. So this is Pete Costanas, and this is Vanished Chicagoland Stories, episode 21, the podcast. And I will say goodbye for now, and take it away, Ray Rayner.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.